Hi, I'm Mike Bobe with Bobe's Hobby House, and this is a series of unboxing videos that we're going to do to show you the latest in model kits and games and tell you a little bit about just what you get in the box when you get this new kit. Our first episode will be the new Tamiya 1/32 scale Corsair, and Bob Davison is going to go through that for you now.
New Tamiya 1/32 scale F4u Corsair, the birdcage version, which was the first one to see service in the South Pacific. And this new kit is one of the new large kits from Tamiya, which have been really stupendous. It comes with, you can see it's got rubber tires. It includes a small screwdriver, and the poly cap is usually to attach the prop shaft. There's also a nut. I don't know what that's for without the instructions. The parts, in usual Tamiya fashion, are extremely well molded. And as you can see right off the bat, it has the separate wing panels to do the wing fold if you wish. And we'll get into that in a minute, because the way they've done it, again, is a usual Tamiya engineering wonder. But these are primarily wing spar and other interior parts. More wing spars. This is getting into the fuselage. This is the major lower center section of the wing, where they've molded the wing roots into the fuselage, again to aid with strength and rigidity. This looks like primarily some landing gear parts and a few interior details. The control surfaces are coming up here. The rudders, flaps, and ailerons. And they've broken the flaps down into sections so they can be positioned properly, it would seem. These are the engine parts, which are being said to be a major model in its own right. These are the stabilizers with some top blades, interior bulkheads, and cockpit parts. There's no floor in the early Corsairs. That was always an issue. If a pilot slipped, he might go right to the bottom of the fuselage. It has two pilot figures, one sitting in the cockpit and one standing. This is a flight stand. You don't see many of those these days on most model kits. They seem to have gone out of style, like pilots in the cockpits, but Tamiya has covered all the bases, and the decal set. We'll find out from the instructions how many decal options they've got. It would seem from the box art that they have two marking options for the kit. One in the blue, gray, and light gray, and the other in the 1943 three-color scheme: sea blue, intermediate blue, and white. These are some of the cowling parts. They have an optional cowling molded in clear plastic, so you can show off the engine without having to remove the cowling. And the canopy is in separate pieces, and a few alternate choices there too in the rear quarter windows. The photo etch is on a separate bracket here so that it doesn't disappear into the box. This would have the seat belts and some other details for the looks like for the cockpit interior. The instruction book itself is fairly massive. This looks like a background history in both Japanese and English, with schematic diagrams and color photos of the cockpit interior and other details in the aircraft. It's almost like a miniature walk-around feature. These are the marking options for the decals and colors. And in the instructions, besides being a massive booklet, what they have done, besides showing you, Tamiya takes an ultimate approach. Theoretically, you should not need to add any detail parts to their kits. They're a little pricey, but you make up for some of that by not having to buy resin or photo etch aftermarket. And it goes together amazingly piece by piece to build up quite a structure. And the engine is the same way. It is, as I mentioned, almost a model by itself. Now the wings are the big feature. You can do them folded or extended, and you don't just glue them either way. They've taken a step beyond a lot of manufacturers. If you build them extended, you start with this sequence of the instructions before you ever start the wings, because it has the spars to go inside and brace them so they're properly aligned and don't sag once you get them glued together. And you go through that particular sequence. And they've got the flaps. The flaps are in separate pieces, so if you drop the flaps, they can be properly segmented, and they even have the sliding fillers molded in between the sequences, because when the flaps drop on that gull wing, they drop apart rather than just drop straight down. And now it starts over. If you're going to do the folded wings, you ignore that whole section of the instructions after the initial fuselage assembly and go to this section. And this shows you how to do the wings in the folded position, where it's got spars again to brace the wings so they're less fragile in their upright position. So there's a different sequence depending on how you want to position the wings. It's a decision you would need to make before you finish the construction of the initial stages of the cockpit and fuselage. The flap assembly is probably the same. And as you can see here, the wings slip over these spars that are in the extended position, and this is built to show the detail at the inner ends of the wings and the outer ends of the wing roots. So you don't simply build it and hinge it. On a kit like this, it would be almost impossible to build a strong enough hinge that also looked scale. So they've designed it so you can build either one and build it with a degree of security and strength. I don't know what the actual parts count of this kit is. We've not seen it on the box, but my guess is there's probably a good 300 or 400 parts in this kit. There could be more, but it is definitely not a kit for beginners. But with Tamiya engineering, it's not necessarily requiring that an expert be the one to build it. Just take care and follow the instructions step by step.
This was the 1/32 scale Tamiya F4u1 birdcage Corsair. Brand new kit, just came out. Retail is $199. In stock now. Come by and see us or check out our web store. Thank you.